Hello, friends. Hello, hello. My name is Janessa Oriel, and I am Amy's head of seller enablement. And I'm excited to be able to be here live, as always, on Thursdays to be able to chat with you today about your business and more specifically, how to incorporate Sell with Amy in your business. So, I wanted to be able to chat and share something that came up recently. I really wanted it's been rolling around in my head, and when something rolls around in my head for a while, I want to be able to share it with you because I really feel like it is something that is beneficial to most people. So, oftentimes, when people are just getting started with anything new, and when I say that, just clicking out a few things here. When I say that, I mean getting it started with anything new. We can use Sell with Amy for sure as an example, but I'd like to use the analogy from which this came, and that is for example, my daughter, we were working with she was working with a coach, and one of the things that came up was the coach immediately said, "Your mechanics, everything looks great, but what's going on in here?" And so when she was sharing what she was thinking about when she was getting up to bat, it really changed what happened when she worked through the mechanics. So when she was telling herself things were a little bit off, or I hope I get up, I hope I get on first base, and I hope I don't get hit. That made a big difference in terms of what was actually happening. And the same thing happens for your business, and more specifically, when you're adopting something or trying something new like Sell with Amy. So for those who have been using the app for a while, number one, if you've been around for a while, you know that I will tell you you can do this, right? But it doesn't matter what I tell you. It matters more what you're telling yourself when you see this screen, or more specifically, when you see this screen. And I want to use this screen as an example because if you see that there's 17 days left in April, your sales goal is 1,000 and you've not done a darn thing. So if you've not done anything here and you see that there's 17 days left, there's only 17 days left. Even saying there's only 17 days left is a big difference between saying I still have 17 days. And that the difference that you use in your own head is going to make a huge difference in terms of what happens here. If you see that you've done some to-dos but only sent 2 messages, uh, that and you say, no one's responding to me, but you've really only sent 2 messages, even though you've completed 11 to-dos, the internal dialogue is going to drastically impact your business. So I want you to take a keen look, and I'm not seeing comments, but it could be a function of where we're at. I'm going to see if I can refresh. If you're here, say hello. If I can't see comments during the live, sometimes that happens, I will go ahead and make sure to answer them after the fact. But I really want you to be aware of what's going on in your head and how you're approaching your business. If you're not achieving the goals that you want to achieve, what are you telling yourself? Oh, good. Hello, Lori. I can see comments. Thank you. Oh, now they're all popping up. It just decided to pop up. Hello to Judy and Megan and Myra and Michelle. Lots of friends here today. Lori, excellent. Thank you so much for chiming in. So I want you to do sort of an audit. Okay, I want you to, when you're doing business related activities, particularly here in the app, I want you to be aware of what you're saying. If you see that you have to-dos and you're like, I'm never going to make it through, you're totally right. I agree. I agree 100% with you. And I also want to tell you, go ahead and tackle 3 and see where it takes you, right? If you just get the ball rolling instead of putting up a hard stop, you're going to get a whole lot farther. And so I want to encourage you to be mindful of what's going on here, be mindful of what's going on here, and more specifically, how that relates to your business. So if you have any questions, or my favorite is if you can think of any mindset tips, I'd love to have you drop those in the comments, whether you're here live on Facebook, on our Sell with Amy Facebook page, or if you're over watching the replay on YouTube, I'd love to also hear some of your tips and tricks there. I'm loving seeing friends over on YouTube as well and connecting and interacting after the fact. For what we like to call our replay is our hashtag after party. So please let me know, how do you get out of, or how do you audit your mindset to do you some favors, right? I'd love to be able to hear that. And if this was helpful, please feel free to share it with your team. Maybe have a discussion about what goes on in your head when you're working your business. Do you look forward to it? Do you dread it? Do you schedule specific time because you know that if you don't schedule the time, it's not going to happen? That's true. right? So I'd love to hear your thoughts around mindset. I'd love to hear if you've had any, oh, good. I'm seeing lots of things. Take that first step. Consistency is key. Done is better than perfect. It's one of my favorites. Done is fun is another phrase that I love hearing. Never, ever, ever give up. Absolutely. Let's see, consistency is key. And that's one of the benefits. Let's be real about the app, right? Consistency is key. If you're jumping into your app once a month, I know in my past, I know in my past lives, when I would go ahead and open this around the 20th of the month because that's when I knew I had 10 days to get the goals done. Michelle has to tell herself focus, right? Sometimes we need to have a little pep talk with ourselves. And I'm here to encourage your pep talks, right? And if you're struggling, reach out to your tribe, says Danielle. Yes, please. The beauty about direct selling, online selling, multi-level marketing, whatever you want to call it, influencer marketing, you have a tribe, you have a group that's going to be able to support and encourage you. And Danielle says, be intentional with your time. We have the tools to allow you to do that, to be intentional with your time. But if you open the tools and you freak out, right, then it's not going to be a benefit to you. So we want you to see this as if I do this every day, I check in every day, I connect, and then I put it away. You're giving yourself a leg up, and you're allowing yourself to overcome some of the excuses that you might have had come up. So additionally, Lori says, if you don't take a chance, you may miss an opportunity. Remember the fun surprises you've had when following up in the past and someone says they need to order, restock, or want to host. Yes, build those relationships and they will come back tenfold, right? As you're going through. Make your time important. Guys, I'm loving this today. I'm loving seeing the encouragement. I'm loving seeing how each of you are jumping in. I really appreciate that. And I love hearing it. And sometimes we need a little bit of that pep talk ourselves, right? Sometimes we need to be able to utilize our resources, in this case, Sell With Amy, whether it be Facebook or YouTube, to be able to remind ourselves that it can happen. We can make it happen. We just have to sort of do that audit and come together for a communal purpose, right? Be genuine, authentic, and keep it simple. Absolutely. Let's talk about building those relationships. Sell With Amy is one of your best bets to be able to build authentic, genuine relationships. And your customers know that because they know when you're reaching out to them, you're not doing the same message to 100 people, right? Or more. They know that when you're reaching out to them, you're genuinely reaching out to them, especially if you're utilizing some of the notes features, especially if you're utilizing the ability to some of the custom, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but utilizing these up here, let me make sure I'm pointing the right spot. If you're utilizing your custom tags, so that way you have the ability to look at somebody and then see some of the things you can connect on. So I can easily reach out to Andy and talk about dogs, baking, or plants, and we can have a great, genuine conversation. And he knows I'm not sending that out to hundreds or thousands of people. The same message, the same, doesn't matter. If I see something that's related to dogs, I'm going to connect with him specifically by filtering out people who are interested in dogs. And I'm going to be able to connect with him on that, right? So build those authentic relationships. Be mindful of what you're telling yourself in your brain, and be kind to yourself. Please, please, please. So thanks so much for joining me. I want to keep it short and sweet today. Thanks so much for joining me. Let me know if you do a little mental or mindset audit and how that helps. And again, if this is helpful, please feel free to share it out to your teams, whether it be on your team pages, your upline, your downline, your sideline, your bestie, all that. That would be tremendously helpful. Thanks so much, friends. We'll see you next week.